Alright, we're dealing with practical meaning, and we're starting to talk about this. We're going to be talking about this all year long, but we're looking at this equation here. And here's our equation, and it's talking about going on a diet. So if I decide to track my weight every day to determine if my diet is working, so I developed this equation, the big thing here is that Y represents the amount that you weigh. So Y represents your weight. X represents the number of days that you've been dieting. So this is the number of days. Okay, now it's asking for the practical meaning of the slope and the practical meaning of the Y-intercept. So let's talk about those for a moment. And let's start with this second one, the practical meaning of the Y-intercept. So the Y-intercept on this one, that's 179. So the Y-intercept is also, there's something that's unique about the Y-intercept. We call it the vertical intercept sometimes. And that's that this X here is equal to 0. So if we were to write that one out, this is where X equals 0. So all we can do here is we can plug in 0 for our X right here, and that's what gives us our 179. Well, X in this case represents the number of days that we've been dieting. So if X were 0, that means we've been dieting 0 days. We haven't started. So we have 179. Y would equal 179. Y represents the amount that we weigh. So at 0 days, we weigh 179 pounds. So we'll write that one here. At 0 days, we weigh 179 pounds. Okay? At 0 days, and that's really when you begin. So basically, when you begin your diet, you weigh 179 pounds. If you want to say at 0 days you weigh 179 pounds, or when you start your diet you weigh 179 pounds, all of those are fine. No problems there. Okay, now let's analyze the practical meaning of the slope. And the slope on this one is negative 0.8x. Now that's kind of a weird one. So we know that the slope, and let's write that down here, slope is negative 0.8. Okay? So remember the slope never includes the x, but it's negative 0.8 is our exact slope. So let's pretend that after the first day, okay? So x would equal 1 after the first day. So y, we would plug this in here, y would equal negative 0.8 times 1 plus 179. So let's kind of work that through real quick here. Y equals negative 0.8 times 1 plus 179. So y equals, let's see, that would be, when we add those, it's negative 0.8, that would be 1, whoops, get out my eraser, 178.2. So after 1 day, I weigh 178.2. Okay, so I can see that my weight is decreasing, so my diet is working. And the significance of this slope here is that I am losing 0.8 pounds per day. The negative indicates that I'm losing. 0.8 is the amount of pounds. I'm going down in weight by 0.8 pounds per day. So the practical meaning of the slope is that I lose 0.8 pounds per day. You could also write it as you lose 8 pounds in 10 days, and that's okay too. So that's kind of it. It's a new concept, but the practical meaning just really means, what is this equation telling me?